Say guys, I wanted to talk about a stone that I picked up the other day, and it is, or what I thought, or what I was told, is a Charnley Forrest. This is the box. Obviously very old. I don't know. I'm sure it's at least 100 years old, maybe twice as much as that. But what interested me about the stone was not only the box, but the stone itself and some of the character of the stone. I've never owned one of these stones before, but I've had a razor or a couple of razors sharpened on one of these, and it was really a nice edge, and it kind of reminded me of a caudicle edge. So when I saw this, it really piqued my interest because it's 11 inches long, and it's fairly narrow. It's about 2 inches, maybe 2 inches here, maybe a little bit under on this side. But the box was custom made for it. But I intend on using it without the box. Just take it out of the box because I'm going to use it under running water and I don't want to ruin the box, so we'll put that away. But what I wanted to make the video about today was prepping the stone, or preparing it, because when I got the stone, I asked the gentleman that I bought it from if he had lapped the stone, and he said he did, and I asked him what he lapped it on, and he said it was a DMT 600. Which is a perfectly good stone to lap it on, or a good plate to lap. The problem with that, I mean, it's perfectly smooth. It's a great smooth edge. The problem with the DMT is that the stone is 11 inches, and the DMT plate, this is an Atomo plate, but the DMT is the same. It's only 8 inches. So when you go to lapping, if you can see, the plate only goes to not all the way to the end. So then if you move it over here, now you're not covering down on this side. So what you end up really doing is you're lapping here, and then you lap here. You tend to dish out the center of the stone, or at least usually these stones like this are dished out anyway over years of use, but you just won't get it as flat as it should be, because what you need to do is the lapping surface has to be at least as long as the stone. I like to have a couple inches each side so I can move it around. So what I want to do is just show you how I would properly lap this to get it perfectly flat. Okay, so what we're going to lap this with is this SIC powder, or silica powder, and you can buy different grit sizes and all that, but the one that I like is this Gritomatic. You can get it on eBay. It's like 50 bucks, and they have, I don't know, like 8 or 10 different bottles in there. They go all the way, I think, from 60 grit, from a 60 grit here, all the way up to 2,000. But realistically, for doing what we do here, you only need a few different grit sizes. So what I'm going to start with is the 120. You can go lower, but I found that if you go much lower than that, for some reason, it just doesn't seem to cut as well. Like 120 is about as low as I would go. And that even worked well on the Arkansas stones, which are definitely harder than this Charnley Forrest. Okay, so the way that this works, it's real simple. I'm just gonna spray the stone, and you just sprinkle a little of this. That's all we need. Oh, what I'm going to do is I want to make some marks on the stone here, because then we'll see how it does. See there? A little more water. And, oh, what I was going to say, okay, so this surface, this is a piece of glass. All right, this is a piece of glass that I had a guy from a glass company cut it for me. It's 3/8 inch, and it's 15 by 18. You can buy a piece of glass at Home Depot for like $6. It's not as big as this, and it's not as thick, but it will serve the purpose. Glass is perfectly flat. So I said that this is an 11-inch stone. I like to have at least a couple inches on each side so I can move that back and forth, and this is 18 inches that way. So this is... Okay, can you see this here? Is it showing the film? There's the pencil wore off here. It's all in the center, you see? So this thing was dished. So the best way to do that, I mean, on this long, you couldn't do it on the 8-inch piece because, like I said, it was here or here. This piece is going to knock this all out. So I'm going to just keep working on the 120 until that center pencil mark goes away. Like it might be a little in the middle. What we need to do is do it again. Because sometimes just the you can see all the pencil marks are gone, so I can tell you right now that is flat. Although what I'm going to do is check it with my straight edge on the light. Dead on flat. Just hold it there. So basically, we just flattened the stone. Now, the gentleman I bought it from obviously did a really nice job. This stone is not like an Arkansas stone. Some people say they spend 2 hours on this. He did a pretty good job. I didn't need to take much off, but it was needed. Some of it did need to come off. You could clearly see with the pencil. So now, that was 120. What I'll do is I'm going to rinse this off. What I'm going to go to next is my 400. At this point, I could use the stone just like it is off of the 120, but I'll make it a little bit smoother. And this I'm just going to do by hand, by feel, because I know it's already flat. This is going to just be real quick here. And you do have to make sure that you rinse it real good, because you don't want any of the residual grit left on there, or the 120 from before. Sometimes those edges get a little sharp. I'm going to hit those with the diamond blade. Oh yeah, nice and smooth. That's a 400, that actually feels really nice. We'll go one more step at the 600 and that'll be it. So I just rinsed off the 400 powder real good, and I'm gonna go to the 600, and this will be the final step. I also wanted to say, if you get these bottles, I would suggest marking the bottle, because these are paper labels, they can come off, and also mark the top, because you don't want to mix the top of the 600 and put it on the 120 or vice versa. That's what I do. And you only need a little bit. I don't know, what is that, maybe a half a teaspoon, quarter teaspoon? You can buy big bags of this stuff individually, but they're just that, they're big bags and you'll never use them in 6 lifetimes. So this Yeah, I can feel it starting to stick because it's getting very refined. And sometimes if you want to, depending on how far you want to go, you can tell by the color of the slurry that's being made here. It'll start to turn, although this is pretty light. Now that feels like glass. So what I'm going to do real quick is take my diamond stone and just kind of hit those corners. There we go. Just soften that a little bit. That's all it will need. All right, so that's it. I just lapped this thing. This thing is flatter than snot, and I went up to 600. This thing is ready to go. I may do another part to this video where I actually test the stone since I've never used one before. So stay tuned. I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed that.